And now you can see the Backseat Mogul Show in all its video glory on our YouTube page at roughedge.tv.
Come to Harbor Cove Cafe, where the palm trees sway, where you'll find my ties and zombies you'll crave. Your hidden treasure at the end of Spinnaker. Tropical libations, feel the island vibrations. Taste the flavors that delight in our paradise of the night. Sip on sunshine in your cup, life's a breeze, so drink it up. Harbor Cove Cafe, where the aloha stays. Your perfect getaway at the end of the bay.
Showbiz is a cruel and shallow money trench, a long plastic hallway where thieves and pimps run free and good men die like dogs for no good reason. There's also a bad side.
This is the Backseat Mogul Show live here on Rough Edge FM. I am R. Scott Bolton. I am the Backseat Mogul, and this is the show where we talk about showbiz. Sitting over there is Johnny D. Johnny, good morning, sir.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Scott. Wait a minute. I'm actually looking at you.
Wow.
Well,
Johnny's over there. Oh, look at that. It's actually working.
Yeah.
Wow, that's freaky.
I'm going.
We're in the right places today, folks.
Or are we in a completely different universe?
This is one of those rare times when we do a show not on a Saturday morning. We were here to do a show on Saturday morning, but we've been having some computer issues, which I think we may have solved. So we'll find out how this show goes. This is actually a test show. We had to skip our show on Saturday. We did an anime show on Sunday, which went fine. And I thought we'd record this one today, the Backseat Mogul Show, because I'll be gone this weekend. We can't do a show this weekend because I'll be in Palm Desert with Alanis Morissette and Joan Jett. So looking forward to that. It's going to be a good weekend out there.
And you'll also be there with
the tiki bars, several tiki bars in Palm Desert, and I will be joining those tiki bars as well. So, by the way, sorry for the half shadowed face. One of the problems with the computers is that my ring light died. So it's probably to your benefit that you see less of me. And I kind of do look a little more sinister with this darkness on my face. But anyway, so this is why the show is airing on Monday and not on Saturday as usual. So, Johnny.
Scotty.
Do you want to start with the good news or the bad news?
Oh, let's go with let's see if we go with the
It's
bad.
really bad news.
If the good will bring us up from the sad bad news. But then again, let's go with the good news.
The good news is, as you found earlier, there is a John Wick sequel series in the works. A lot of people were disappointed, me among them, when at the end of John Wick 4, and if you haven't seen it, sorry, spoiler alert, John Wick dies. Yeah, it was a shocker because I thought there were going to be, there was at least one more John Wick film in the works. I thought they had shot them side by side, and then I discovered after they killed him off at the end of the fourth one that they had decided to stop the fifth movie due to COVID, when COVID hit, and just do one movie instead of two. So John Wick's dead. It looks like it was over. There was plenty of ways to bring him back because there always is. John Wick's like science fiction thing. You can always bring back Spock. How many times can you do that? By the way, I heard an interesting story about Leonard Nimoy and Spock, which I'll tell you later when we get back to that. But anyway, so the sequel takes place directly after the events of John Wick 4, which leads me to believe that John Wick's not dead. We'll see. Does he have the same power that Chevy has in the Crank movies? I doubt it. I mean, Chevy fell out of an airplane and landed in the middle of his Los Angeles street, was scraped up with a snow shovel, put in the back of a car, and came back to life. I don't think John Wick could do that, even though he's fallen off a 3-4 story building before and lived to tell about it. So,
in Parabellum, when Winston shoots him, supposedly,
and he falls off a 3 or 4 story building, as somebody just said.
Yeah, no, what I'm getting at is it not only did he fall off the building, he hit everything on the way.
Oh, that was a serious fall. And then he got picked up and he wheeled into the place with a wheelbarrow. Very interesting. So anything's possible. Maybe John Wick's immortal, like Deadpool and Wolverine. We don't know. Could happen. But anyway,
will he grow his finger back?
What?
If he's immortal, he should be able to grow his.
That doesn't. No, just because you're immortal doesn't mean you can't lose limbs.
Wait a minute,
Wouldn't that suck? You're immortal and you get your arm cut off and you're stuck with immortality with one arm. That would be
regeneration,
Johnny. Gotta keep. They could be separate things. You can be immortal and not regenerate, which would suck if you got poked in the eye. Yeah. Something like that. Anyway, Keanu Reeves is apparently involved in this, so that leads me to believe that he will be returning. They haven't said that flat out yet, though, so we'll see what happens. But we always do have John Wick returning in Ballerina. What's the release date on Ballerina?
All I saw was for next year, 2025.
That's all it says, 2025. That one is directed by Len Wiseman and stars Ana de Armas as Ballerina. Plus returns by Keanu Reeves, of course, Ian McShane and Lance Riddick, Gabriel Byrne, and Angelica Houston. Plus Norman Reedus. I think this is the first time he's been in a.
I think so.
He was great in The Bike Riders. He was terrific in The Bike Riders. A little wild, but he was very good in that as well. So that's some of the good news. There's other good news out there too.
Speaking of Bike Riders, I didn't even recognize him.
Oh, you didn't? I instantly I knew him.
At first.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, he was covered with a lot of hair.
Yeah,
and a big furry coat.
I think his teeth were capped.
Maybe, yeah.
And but then you start hearing that voice and going, well, first I thought he was.
Is that Daryl? No, it's his other brother, Daryl.
That's good.
No, it really wasn't. But yeah, it was very good. So let's see what else we got in the good news section. Jenna Ortega is going to be joining Glenn Powell in a new movie by J.J. Abrams. It's a mystery project. We don't know much about it except that those two people are going to be in it, and J.J. is going to be directing it. Glenn Powell couldn't be hotter right now with his turn off of the Anyone But You, the mystery, the rom-com, and then the Hitman television movie that was a huge success, and now with Twisters. I mean, Glenn Powell's probably the hottest new star in Hollywood right now. So it's great that Jenna Ortega, also a very hot star, is taking place with doing a movie with him. But again, we don't know anything about it. All we know is that it's J.J. Abrams' new film, not a time travel movie as previously been speculated. And Abrams wrote the script and will be directing. So we'll see what that all ends up to be. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward to, and we're only about 30 days away from it, Jenna Ortega in Beetlejuice, right around the corner. Can't wait for that. So we'll see how that all goes. What else do we have in the good news department? I'm trying to put off the bad news because it really broke my heart a little bit.
It just dawned on me. The woman that plays her mother in Beetlejuice, that is
Catherine O'Hara.
No. Is that her mother? No. Who's the actress that played Catherine O'Hara's daughter
know.
In the first one?
Oh, Ricci.
Yeah.
Christina
Wasn't
Ricci.
she also in The Addams Family with Jenna Ortega? Christina Ricci?
Maybe. Jenna Ortega was in The Addams Family?
That series, that TV.
The TV series Wednesday.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wednesday.
Yeah, maybe in that. I thought you were talking about an Addams Family movie. I'm like, I don't think so.
But Addams Family.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm.
Wednesday was a great series, by the way.
It
Was Ricci in that? I don't remember.
I thought she was.
Well, let's find out. She was.
Yeah.
Yep. She's great. Christina Ricci is great. Anyway, so I think that'll be something to look forward to. J.J. Abrams is a decent filmmaker. He hasn't been around for a while. So it'll be good to see him come back and do a mystery, especially those two characters, especially with Glenn Powell's track record so far. It's looking better and better all the way around. All right, let's get to the bad news. And I feel terrible about this. David Lynch says he's likely retiring. David Lynch, one of the most maverick directors in the film business, a guy who makes movies the way he wants to make them. And if you like it, good. If you don't, he doesn't care. He had the movie he did was Dune. He did the first, no, I don't think, well, I guess it was the first film version of Dune. And a lot of people hate that movie. I have my hates and likes about it as well. I wish that he had been able to do his version of Dune, because Dino De Laurentiis produced that movie and told him what to do most of the time. So that kind of probably capped it. But Lynch apparently has emphysema and is now housebound with the disease. He smoked all his life, smoked a lot. Every time you see him on a set, he's got a cigarette in his hand. And this is unfortunately what happens. But it's terrible news, because we were all hoping for a new feature film or series from David Lynch. Showtime asked him to do another season of Twin Peaks, and he said, I will, in 25 years. That was about 4 or 5 years ago. So we still got 20 years to wait, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen now, because he's very, very ill. That's too bad.
Can you imagine the movie that we would have if he directed a Star Wars movie?
There was actually talk about him directing a Star Wars movie, as a matter of fact.
Great.
I don't know that it would have. I think David Lynch works best when he's creating his own worlds and doing his own thing. And I mean, have you seen any of David Lynch's movies?
Yeah.
Name one.
See,
this is what I thought. He hasn't seen any David Lynch.
I have. Well, I saw Dune.
Okay.
Original Dune.
So you thought, based on that he would make a good Star Wars movie?
Well, no. So there's other things. Wasn't he involved with the original Twin Peaks TV series?
Yes.
Okay.
That wasn't one of his movies.
Oh, okay.
But that's still that's a perfect project. You think the filmmaker who was behind the original Twin Peaks, and by the way, I like the Showtime series better than the original, would make a good Star Wars film?
I
mean, he does weird, odd, off the wall stuff. Star Wars is none of that.
Okay.
Don't you agree?
Okay.
And whether you agree or not, you're still wrong.
Okay.
But David Lynch let's go through some of his movies, because he's a legend. There's no question about it. Let me see. Got all those little things that he's been doing. I'm not going to go through these. Twin Peaks, obviously. He did Twin Peaks, the Showtime series. He did the Elephant Man movie.
There you go. Good example. That was an excellent movie.
Yeah, but so you want to see a black and white Star Wars set in the 1800s?
Might be interesting. I mean, hey, we've already had Cowboys and Alien.
Yeah, look how that did.
Yeah.
Inland Empire, considered by many people to be one of the greatest movies ever made. I really need to see that again. Eraserhead, of course. Have you seen Eraserhead, John?
If I did,
I think that would probably change your mind about David Lynch doing a Star Wars movie. Mulholland Drive, of course. Lost Highway. Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me, which was the movie based on the Twin Peaks original series. Wild at Heart, Blue Velvet, The Elephant Man, Eraserhead, and a whole bunch of other ones, a lot of which you can see on YouTube, as a matter of fact. But anyway, a legendary director. Unfortunately, has to step down because of the emphysema. Last time we saw David Lynch was in Steven Spielberg's The Fabelmans, in which he played John Ford. And I told this story on the show before, but Steven Spielberg called David Lynch and said, I need you to play John Ford in the movie about my life. And David Lynch said, I'm really not interested. I'm sorry, I'm going to pass. And the first thing I thought of, that guy said no to Steven Spielberg? Who says no to Steven Spielberg? And so Spielberg went about his business trying to find somebody else to cast him. And he realized there was nobody else who could take that part. So he called back David Lynch and begged him to take the part. And David Lynch said, fine, I don't want to be paid for it. All I want is to make sure there's cheese puffs on the set. You got to love David Lynch. And I'm so sorry to hear this news, because the thing about David Lynch is I didn't appreciate him in the early days. I went to Hollywood with John Larson to see a midnight show of Eraserhead. And I remember sitting there watching that movie going, what in the hell am I watching? I didn't get it. Years later, decades later, I watched it again and I went, oh, It's like the Twin Peaks, the Showtime television series. I watched the original Twin Peaks. I wasn't as big a fan as so many people of it were. I didn't see what the big deal was. But then I watched the Twin Peaks Showtime series and no, it's just this guy does movies the way he wants to do them, and he's going to make you think about his movies. And unfortunately, it looks like we won't be getting any more films from David Lynch. So that is sad news indeed.
At least we know that, excuse me, we know the reason why he's retiring, and it's not because of he's no longer with us.
No, he's been diagnosed with emphysema, and he's 78 years old, and the big thing he's terrified of, and especially in LA right now, he doesn't want to get COVID, because at 78, COVID and emphysema, you're going to have a hard time overcoming that. So he says he can only walk a short distance before he runs out of breath. He said that he might direct a film again if he can shoot it remotely, but he says that he wouldn't like that so much. It's very sad. His last major project was Showtime's Twin Peaks: The Return in 2017. Absolutely love that. His last feature film was Inland Empire in 2006. As I said, a movie that many people consider to be one of the greatest movies of all times. So
I can't remember if I saw Inland Empire.
It's weird, but that's what makes it good. That's what makes it good. Very sad news to pick that. It makes me, that was very sad news.
I thought you were going to give us like a death notice or something like that of a beloved director or actor.
This is, I don't want to say it's death notice, but it's the end of a career. And that's pretty similar.
Yeah.
Pretty similar. Let's see what else we got in bad news. The Borderlands movie is coming out in a couple of weeks, and boy, are they in trouble. This movie looks good. We've seen the scenes on the previews and things at the movies and on television, and a lot of people have been talking about it. But right now, they're looking anywhere with $13 to $20 million opening weekend on a budget that costs more than $100 million. That isn't good at all. They're very concerned about it. However, there is a saving grace, because the movie Warcraft, which was also based on a video game, was released and didn't do great here in the United States, but it did over $200 million in China. So if the Chinese box office comes through for Borderlands, it might be all right. But at this point, and there's no reviews or anything, we don't know why people don't want to go see this movie. Do people play Borderlands anymore? I wish Devin Crow was here, because he would know. Sometimes I think they make these video games too long after the games have ceased being popular. I guess that's not the case with Fallout, though, but people still play Fallout.
Yeah, the last movie that Raul Julia was in, that movie was based on a video game.
What was that movie?
And I can't remember what the name. Why did Jean-Claude Van Damme was in it?
Time Cop.
No. I actually like Time Cop. No, Raul Julia played the bad guy, the general or the emperor or whatever he was. And I, for like me, just can't remember what.
Yeah, well, everybody expects this from you, John. It's okay.
Well, we wouldn't have a show like this if it wasn't.
Say that again. We wouldn't have a show like this. That might be a good thing.
Wait, what?
Street Fighter.
Okay, that was it.
From 1980. It was only 30 years ago, John.
Oh, that in my defense.
There is no defense.
Man, 30 years ago, I was 41. That's my defense.
Doesn't work. In more good and bad news, and this hurts me too. Not this first part. The first part is Deadpool and Wolverine made another $97 million this weekend. That movie is a smash hit, easily going to go over $1 billion. And the cast just keeps pushing it. People keep going to see it. Many of the people I talk to say it's a great, great movie. Some people say it's the best movie they've ever seen. I would have to disagree there. But it certainly is the movie that gives the audience exactly what they promised. They said for all these years, we're going to give you the Deadpool movie you want to see. And boy, did they hand us that Deadpool movie on a platter. Wolverine, big part of that. Wolverine coming back was a big part of that. So I think this movie is going to keep making money. 97 million this weekend. That's a drop of only 55%. And most of the time, blockbusters like that drop 60 to 70% in the following weekend. So it didn't even drop as much as other films do.
A couple of things that I really liked about the movie is
spoiler alerts.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert.
Got to be careful. But go ahead, just say spoiler alert.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
saying.
And then by now, most of the spoilers have been spoiled on the internet anyway. So
it's about
time. It's about
4
place.
people. Oh, that's a good one. It's about time. It's about place.
See, that's why it's not a good one.
4 people offhand who made cameos. And one of them was a
Wait, before you say anything, what was your favorite cameo?
Oh,
mine's easy. I will say that the Chris Evans cameo was awesome because of the way it was set up.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't my favorite cameo. I'm surprised you haven't guessed.
I didn't see a shark, so. Is that you doing that? No?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
This person also made a cameo in What We Do in the Shadows as the same character, but they never used his name because they would have got sued.
I didn't see.
When the cameo happened in the theater that we were in, I went, yeah. And then Shelley looked at me and I went, oh, did I say that out loud? And then I talked to my son, Josh, and he said, yeah, that was the most popular cameo when we went to the theater, went nuts.
Okay, you have to tell me because I just.
Wesley Snipes as Blade.
He's in that list I was going to tell you about.
I know. I wanted to beat you to the punch there. It was by far my favorite cameo. And I also like the line, and I'm sorry for the spoiler alerts, but it's hard. I promise you, if we spoil some things for you in this movie, there's going to be thousands more we didn't spoil. But when they're driving back and they're talking about how many actors have played the various characters, mm-hmm. and Blade says, there's only been one Blade, and there always will be only one Blade. And Deadpool looks at the camera and like, yeah. Great stuff. All right. You're going to spoil all the cameos? You're just going to go through and spoil all of them?
Well, we already know that Chris Evans is in it. And what I liked about that is the fact he played the original. Well,
here's the funny part about that is who did Deadpool think he was? So you missed the entire point behind that.
Did he think he was Captain?
He thought he was Captain America.
Okay.
He's going to say it. He's going to say it. And then Chris Evans goes, flame on. And Deadpool goes, flame on. That was hysterical.
Yeah. And I guess I did miss that. I remember him going flame on. But that, because Chris Evans did play Johnny Storm.
That's right.
And the first movie that we saw, big theatrical release, I'll put it that way, because I don't know if there was a Fantastic Four TV show or not.
There has been, but I mean, there's been many iterations of Fantastic Four, and none of them have worked yet. This new movie might be the one, though. Let me tell you the casting on that if I can find it. You got Vanessa Kirby as Susan Storm. You've got Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm. You've got Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic. You've got Ralph Ineson as Galactus. Julia Garner is in the movie. Ebon Moss-Backrack plays Thing. He's from The Bear, which I just started watching again. This cast might pick things. I know I'm missing somebody big here, but I don't know who it is, but that's a terrific cast just right there. Mm-hmm. So, maybe this time, who's directing that? You know what? Now we need to find out more. Thanks, John.
You're welcome.
The movie is called The Fantastic Four, The First Steps. Matt Schachman is directing it, and Matt is the director of WandaVision, Game of Thrones, The Great, and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So he's got some chops. The writers are Peter Cameron, Josh Friedman, and Jeff Kaplan. And without looking them up individually, I don't know what they've done in the past, but that's all good stuff. So, I think that we're gonna see some pretty interesting things here. Let's see. Natasha Lyonne is also in it. John Malkovich also in the new Fantastic Four movie.
He is so good.
Yeah. So, well, he's a legend. I mean, that guy. I just watched the movie that he did with one of my favorite actors, Adrian Brody. And they played bank robbers. I think they're bank robbers who get holed up in this building and they're hiding out from the cops. And while they're hiding out from the cops, they realize that something's hunting them down. And what they don't realize is the building they went into is a research center where they train dogs to be killers, like military killers. And one of the dogs wasn't happy about that, so killed all the military killers. And now the military trainers. So now the dog is hunting them. It wasn't half bad. I'll have to look that name of that movie up too. Anyway, yeah, that's the thing about the Deadpool movie. It's easily going to break $1 billion. It delivers on every level for everybody who wants to see it. The bad reviews are all, well, it's just fan service. Yeah, and it's going to make over $1 billion. You know, you have to be careful about that because you don't want to make a movie that just is pandering. And this movie doesn't just pander. There's some definite pandering going on, but it doesn't just pander. And that makes it all worthwhile. I got to find out what that movie was. Who'd I say? Adrian Brody?
Yeah.
By the way, if you're watching TV and there's an Adrian Brody movie on, just watch it because he's always worth watching it in. John Malkovich. And that movie is Bullethead from 2017. So I was going to do that as my
title, but I don't think I saw the movie.
You were, yeah. I was going to do that as my was it as bad as they say it was? But I didn't get a chance to create that logo yet. So we'll do that again in a couple of weeks. It's Adrian Brody, John Malkovich, Roy Culkin, and Antonio Banderas. And Antonio Banderas is also very good in that as well. Okay, so where are we at? What are we talking about next? Oh, I know what I want to talk about next. This, again, makes me very sad, but also there's a good side to it. Longlegs, the Nicolas Cage horror movie, was number 7 at the box office this month, but so far has grossed $66,940,000 with $12 million over worldwide for a total of almost $80 million. Movie cost $10 million to make. It's a hit.
Oh, yeah.
This is the kind of thing that Nicolas Cage is doing these days, and he's making a big name for himself by doing the films that he wants to do instead of the films that the studios tell him he has to do. It's working for him. Here's the sad part about this. Very happy for Longlegs. Very sad for Furiosa, because Longlegs has made more money at the US box office than Furiosa did. It's just wrong. Furiosa was awesome, but people just did not go see it. Now, the good news is that Furiosa made $100 million more than Longlegs did overseas. So that will probably, I don't think that Longlegs will catch up to it globally, but the fact that it beat it out in the US is it's just interesting, the viewing habits of the American public. I think it's just very interesting how it changed. But anyway, that's the other good news about the box office. So Longlegs is doing quite well. Rounding out the top 5 in the box office, number 5 was Inside Out 2, which has come up with a total so far of $626, almost $27 million. Despicable Me 4 with over $310 million. Trap opened this weekend. That's the new M. Night Shyamalan, which Johnny saw and liked, right?
I did.
It's started out with almost a $16 million budget. That's a little bit like Horizon, because my understanding is that Shyamalan financed a lot of it himself. The good news is it probably wasn't expensive, and in the long run, he'll probably see some money off of it. Number 2, of course, was Twisters, which has already grossed almost $200 million just in the US, and Deadpool and Wolverine, which is sitting at $400 million almost. We'll easily get that by Tuesday or maybe today, and go on to make over $1 billion worldwide. Interesting times we live in. But then, you look at some of these other titles. Fly Me to the Moon, which you saw and liked, right, Johnny?
Yes, I did.
$20 million sitting there. Fabulous 4, just over $2 million. A Quiet Place Day 1, over $137 million. There'll be more of Quiet Place coming very soon. I really probably should see one of those, huh?
Yeah, maybe.
Never seen one. Harold and the Purple Crayon tanking, barely squeezing out $6 million over the weekend, and that was a pretty, not a big budget, but a higher budget.
Then it probably, it might be at our theater this coming week.
Zachary Levi is a local boy, and I wish him a lot of luck, but I think he's making a lot of mistakes in his public appearance. Let's just leave it at that.
I gotta tell you, I really, really enjoyed him in that TV series he had, Chuck.
That was a great series.
It was.
It
Everybody
truly was.
that was connected with that was good.
Yes. All right. So here's Deadpool and Wolverine. As I said, they've easily going to break the $1 billion mark with that movie. It's going on strong still as we look at the theaters. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. The movie is called Deadpool and Wolverine. Okay, I get it, because Hugh Jackman returns and, again, steps into that role like it's his skin and takes over as Wolverine, right? But who is the real star? Deadpool and who? Deadpool and Dogpool, of course. I love that little dog.
I forgot about the dog.
I should have said spoiler alert. There is a dog pool. Who was his original old owner? Van Milder. Such a funny movie. Such a funny movie. All right. So we got a few more minutes here. Johnny, you want to talk about anything you're watching? I didn't think so. So moving on.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
Now, I've been watching Pluto Network, and I've been watching a lot of the original CSI.
Okay.
And, with the original cast. And it's funny. You watch a series completely when it originally aired. But then years later, and I mean years later, because I think they started filming that or shooting that in the 90s. You go back and you start from day one, Star Wars again. You go, I don't remember this. I don't remember. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait, I remember that. But I don't remember this over here. And the episode I watched, one of the episodes I watched last night was the one where the character Stokes, who's one of the CSI guys, gets kidnapped and put in a glass or plexiglass coffin that's buried.
That's never been done before.
True. And it's what the team goes through to try and find out where he's at.
You mean like they did on The Rookie? And about a zillion other TV shows. I know it's I'm not dissing it because you have to have standard plots in those kind of shows. But the underground burials since Edgar Allan Poe, for crying out loud.
True, but the fact that
I'm sorry. I guess all burials are underground. The live underground burial is what I meant.
I believe this was from the first or second season of CSI, and the villain or the person that kidnapped him was played by John. Oh, we just talked
the Baptist.
No, John Saxon.
Oh yeah, John Saxon.
Yeah, and how he meets his demise, his character is like.
Spoiler alert! Go ahead and tell us because that's older than Deadpool.
Well, he wants $1 million.
Don't they all?
Ransom. So they get the money, and the guy brings it in there. They have a meetup. He brings him in there. He steps back and says, there's die packs or trackers or something in there. No, it's all cash. So he opens it up, and yeah, it was all cash, all neatly bundled up like it comes from the
banks,
from the treasury.
Oh, okay.
And this is all $100 bills. And he says, okay, now, and the good guy says, okay, where's my guy? And he never tells him. Instead, he opens up his coat and he's got 2 things of Semtex strapped to himself, and he detonates it.
Why? Then he doesn't get the money.
There was no rhyme or reason to why.
Because he's a crazy lunatic?
Well, that could be. Well, his daughter is serving time for murder.
Did she do it?
Apparently so, because the CSI guys found the evidence. They only testify about what the evidence tells them. And it was enough for this girl to be convicted. And she's in prison. And supposedly John Saxon's character, who is this girl's father, decides he's going to get even with the CSI people from putting his daughter in jail. And his daughter.
So let me get this straight. So he gets the $2 million cash, $1 million cash. His daughter stays in jail, and he blows himself up.
Yeah.
So what did he accomplish? He burned up $2 million. He probably hurt or killed a few people in the CSI group, and his daughter's still in jail. That's a crazy guy.
Oh yeah. But he was trying to take out. He thought there was a whole bunch of cops behind Gil Grissom, the good guy.
Did he kill Gil?
No.
That'd be a good name for a movie. Kill Gil. Just kidding.
Yeah, right. Maybe that was the original name, and they just
anything's possible.
Yeah.
The thing we started watching last night is the latest season of The Bear, and it's just excellent. It is, the acting in that show is probably the best on television right now. It is incredible. The show is weird. The first episode was like some bizarre conglomeration of Carmi's life, who's the lead. And it was, when it was over, we're like, bull, this show took a different turn. But then the next episode shows up and you see things that are related to that first episode. But it steps back into its usual character of these people with these harsh personalities trying to get along to create something great together. And the cast is just amazing. So if you haven't seen The Bear, you need to watch it. It's easily the best drama on TV right now. They call it a comedy. And I can see why too, because it does have some very funny aspects to it, but it's really more of a dramedy, not dramedy, because I hate that word, drama. And excuse me, again, the cast and the writing is just brilliant. And I understand Jamie Lee Curtis is returning for an episode coming up here in the future. So
I believe she's in Borderlands.
She is, as a matter of fact. She with that, everything, I never can remember that title. Everything Happens All at Once 3 times, or whatever that movie was called.
Everything You've Ever Wanted in the World.
No,
or something like that.
Whatever it was. Which she won the Oscar for, well deserved. Ever since then, she's been everywhere. And the more Jamie Lee Curtis I can get, the better. She's just amazing all the way around.
On the radio the other day, I don't remember which radio I was listening to, but they got to talking about Jamie Lee Curtis and their favorite scenes. Oh, I remember what it was. I was listening to Mo Kelly on Friday on CSI on KFI, and he has a little contest on Fridays where people call in and he'll play a piece of dialogue from a movie, and you have to guess just from what you hear what movie it was. Well, they did the one from True Lies, and they got to talking about Jamie Lee Curtis as the best strip tease shot or scene you have ever seen.
It's pretty sexy.
Yes,
it was. That was a terrific movie. And they were supposed to do a sequel, and they just couldn't get the 3 of them together at the right time. Schwarzenegger, Jamie Lee, and James Cameron just couldn't get together at the same time, which is too bad, because I would have loved to have seen a True Lies sequel. That was the plan for the whole thing. True Lies was supposed to become a series like James Bond.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it easily could have, as a matter of fact, but unfortunately we didn't get it. All right, we're going to close out today with the Santa Paula Film Festival. I told myself I wasn't going to do that, and I didn't quite. I said Santa Paula Film Festival, which took place last weekend. Huge success. Over 300 people showed up to watch the screenings. The awards were given out. I don't have a list here in front of me. Otherwise, I would tell you which movies won. I do know that Sallywood won for Best Overall Feature. And that is the story of a filmmaker and becoming friends with Sally Kirkland. Ms. Kirkland was supposed to show up. She was scheduled to be here at one of the receptions, but she was ill and couldn't make it. So unfortunately, we didn't get to see Sally. But again, it was a huge success. So they're already making plans for next year. So there will be a Santa Paula Film Festival next year. I was thrilled to be part of the judging committee. James Lantine, thank you for including me in that. I watched every single film that was submitted. I enjoyed most of them. Some of them people should, find another job, but but for the most part, the films were all terrific. And it's always good to see people making films, whether they're good or bad. It's good to see people out there doing their work in the film industry. And also to see, we had one film that was submitted that was written, produced, and directed by little kids. And I'm talking like 8, 9, 10 years old. And it was bad. It was little kids making a movie, but you couldn't help get involved in their hearts and watching their faces as they made a film. We're making a movie. And that that group of kids is going to grow up to be filmmakers. Half of them or more are going to grow up and become filmmakers because of that experience.
Do you remember where they placed on the block? In the pecking
I do not
order
know what
was?
that question means.
No, where did they place in the festival? I mean, you already told us who first was. That was the.
Oh, there was no order to the films. We didn't put them in order. That just Sallywood won Best Feature Film, but they did win Best Up and Coming Filmmakers.
Good.
So yes, because we the judges talked about it, and we wanted them to remember the festival to solidify their love of film, and maybe they'll go out and they'll make more, and that, I'm all for it. So that was terrific. So again, it's SantaPaulaFilmFestival.org. Check it out and keep your eye on that. there'll be updates and what have you. So I know it's a whole year away, but it's coming very soon. And I'm very excited about getting involved with it again.
Now, I'm sure you'll correct me if I'm wrong.
You usually are.
Yeah.
I'll just correct you now. No, that's not right, John.
Oh man, I thought I had it.
Okay. What's your error?
Wasn't Sally Kirkland the original Hot Lips?
No,
hooligan?
she was not. And they talk about that in the film. And I'm glad that Ms. Kirkland isn't here because she would slap you across the face.
I thought
That would be Sally Kellerman.
Oh, Kellerman. That's right. I had the Sally part right.
Yeah. They addressed that in the film. Oh, it's Hot Lips. No, it's not. I don't know if she hit him or not, but she should have. But no, it was not. That was Sally Kellerman in that.
Okay.
So, all right, folks, no show this coming Saturday because I will be in, again, Palm Desert with Alanis Morissette and Joan Jett. Never seen Alanis Morissette before.
And
the Tiki Bars.
And
I don't know.
who are you married to?
Oh, my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I say I, because I'm married, it means we.
Say her name.
Shelley.
There you go.
Took me a sec.
Ooh.
Anyway, looking forward to that show. I've never seen Alanis live. I've seen Joan Jett. This will be the 6th time I've seen Joan Jett. So no worries there. And she always does a great show. Plus the Tiki Bars. Looking very much forward to visiting my Tiki Bars. We only got one day to do it because we got to come back a little early and get up to Fraser Park. Now, you know, Santa Paula, Santa Barbara, Fraser Foster. I do the same thing. Fraser Park for my son's birthday. So
You know, I do the same thing when I think of when I'm going up the 33 that way. I'm thinking Fraser Park. Oh no, this was Foster Park. But
they're both 2 syllables. They both start with F. They both end with R. You know, it's not that hard of a mistake to make.
They both have Park in their name.
That's right. It's very confusing. So anyway, in the meantime, as always, go visit our friends at The Grape, have a nice cocktail, listen to some nice jazz. They also have comedy and sometimes magic there. And again, I will tell you, their cocktails are outstanding. If you like the dessert type cocktails, you must get a key lime martini. It is exquisite. Have you had that, John?
No, I have.
You should go there after the show and get one. They're not open, but you could wait till they do.
Okay.
Actually, they might be open because I think they have Saturday and Sunday jazz, not brunch because they don't serve food. They have food delivered, but they don't serve food. Saturday things going on. Let's say matinees.
Well, where were they located?
In Ventura.
Yeah, I know that.
You'll find out in just a moment when I play their ad.
The fair is going on. That might be something that
Might be a better time to go there because it
Yeah.
won't be as busy.
Yeah.
It's, you know what, Tuesday night is their busiest night. They have their gratitude celebration, and that's when people come. It's basically, you know, you get up on stage and you play some music. You bring your instrument, you get up stage, you play some music, and it's by far their most popular night. They're crazy busy on those nights, and the place fills up nice, and everybody has it's basically a party at the Grape on Tuesday nights. And then other nights it's still like a party, but you got, you know, great bands, jazz bands mostly, some progressive rock they put up there. It was pretty good stuff.
Do you remember John's on the Beach?
No.
It's the Aloha Steakhouse took over.
Oh, I didn't know that was John's on the Beach.
Yeah, not the whole thing. It was just a little, basically a 2x0 at the end.
Of the Rainbow?
Yes. That was at the end. Then you got the promenade that you walk on, and then John's on the Beach, and then next to that would be where the steakhouse is. Well, I believe the steakhouse, the Aloha Steakhouse, is taking over that whole area.
Oh, probably.
But the reason why I brought up John's,
by the way, Aloha Steakhouse, also awesome.
but the reason why I brought up John's on the Beach, when you're talking about if you had your instruments come up and play, that's what John's on the Beach used to do.
Well, a lot of places do that. A lot of places have bring your own instrument night. You know, it's not the Grape's the only thing, but yeah, a lot of places do that. So yeah, Grape does it and very successfully. So here's their address, John, so you can go right after the show. We'll see you all in a couple weeks. Bye. Brought to you by The Grape, Ventura County's premier jazz venue and cocktail lounge, located at 2733 East Main Street in Ventura. For menu and music schedule, visit them online at thegrape.club. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production. John forgot to mention the books.
Well, we're still